where it make exactly 1 year since the Norwegian authorities arrest Cho Lucas Ayaba and they lock it up for Oslo, Norway, and they charge you with incitement to crimes against humanity. So 1 year on, it be held in detention awaiting trial. So today, at the start, wait way I go call and say MKPD, Country People Musings. For when I don't know, musings, it just basically mean deep thoughts and reflections. So for when I want for, because I did drive, I did just to drive the talk, I want for invite una into my life, into my mind, into my thoughts, and into my reflections. Okay, now the musings, now the meaning of the word musing, that for English, M-U-S-I-N-G, musings. Okay, so the point why they make now, because the bolo I get them now, it require me for drive a lot, and I enjoy driving, so that's not a problem. But the problem now say it take away time where maybe I for the use them for the do other things, and for example the destruction of Ambazonia terrorism. So because I did drive at least maybe some days then 2 hours, you know, about 1 hour just before I reach Usawa de Bolo, and then 1 hour for drive come back for evening, for afternoon, evening time, where that time are for the do something. So wait, when me able to use those times or that time for do now say I did do research even when I did drive to go for work. So before I be engaged with the destruction of Ambazonia terrorism, for this fight when the Amba terrorists they invite me, I for to spend that time maybe playing music, maybe talking to my family members, you know, time where I did drive to go for work and all those kind of things, you know, listening to music. I love Makosa, Dombolo, and a bunch of other different genre of music. I for either to listen to music or, you know, something interesting, maybe reading or listening to news, you know, world news, BBC, Al Jazeera, CNN, sports, you know, other things. But now I dedicate my life for this fight for destroy Ambazonia terrorism inside Cameroon. So while we at the drive, I go spend some of this time for the talk with my country people them. So today now the very first of many episodes that I go bring up for now. So if I hear some noise from motor na my engine for motor, or I go indicate, for example, when I hear this one, those clicks them. Now when I turn left or right, when I go hear all those kind small things where they go to distract, but I know they touch my phone. The phone just there for corner, there for the record. So basically my phone na the world na una where una day inside the motor with me, and I give una one-way communication, one-way transmission when I broadcast one to many. So when I been at my passengers, when I watch and listen to these musings, to my deliberations, to my reflections and my deep thoughts about, sometimes them day way I go digress and I go talk about other things, I go on a tangent. For example, in the middle of me making a point, maybe I go start talk about carpenters or Cameroon. But I promise when I say all of my digression, it go be related to a particular point where I want to make them. You know, we just be going on a totally irrelevant tangent. So I go try for keep them within relevance, I promise. So as I've been talk today, now 24th of September 2025, 1 year since the Norwegian authorities they arrest Cho Lucas Ayaba, the lucky for Norway, and they charge you for inciting crimes against humanity for Cameroon. For these same pages them where when I go to hear these broadcasts, these musings, and where I go to post them, you know, I no go get a frequency where I go post them. Some days the day where I go get opportunity for record my musings. So as I record them, when I reach for house, I go then publish them. Some days the day I go feel record them, some other days the day I no go record them. For example, if I don't get the opportunity, or I don't get nothing to talk about, or I just want to dedicate or spend the time with myself, because most of the time I play my music, my dombolo, and I know I love music very much. Music now a very healthy part of my life. For example, this one, okay? So when I go get, sometimes the day way I go just basically play music and drive and listen to my music while they go for bolo. I know we get time for do recording, and if I get the time for do recording, then I go do the recording. So it no go be a must. It no go be a daily thing or weekly thing. There is no frequency. I go just do them when and as I be free and available for do them. And when I go come to realize and understand, say, music plays a very big part of my life. Fali Ipupa, now one of the artists, then that way I absolutely love listening to ye. Okay, so when I buckle up, when I wear seat belts, when I jump inside motor with my countryman, the Kumkumasa, the king of all the black legs, the very first episode for this were musings, were deep thoughts, and our reflections. It go start right now, and we go talk about the beginning. I think now one of the best places that for talking or for start something. Or should we actually start at the beginning? No, I think say we will start this conversation at the end. We will start them at the end, and then we will work our way to the middle, maybe to the beginning, on subsequent episodes them in the future. So Wusa a end with the complete and utter destruction of Ambazonia terrorism. But how did we get here? We get to the end of Ambazonia destruction through meticulous hard work and dedication, professionalism, sacrifice. Not the solution, that not the key, that. So from the very first day where I decide for fight Ambazonia terrorism, I be know the price where I could pay. I be know say it will require a lot of dedication, it will require a lot of sacrifice, and it will require a lot of time. So as I don't already explain for now, Ambazonia terrorism, it come about as a result of decades of radicalization from Anglophones by Anglophones and the radicalization of Anglophones. And I go summarize some for now. The word Ambazonia, it be coined by Fongum Goji Dinka, where he hailed from a small village in Widikum subdivision. And it is in exile for London right now as I speak. That part came up with the word Ambazonia in 1984, or maybe not 85 if I'm not mistaken. So if you do the arithmetic, where today now 2025, you will see I'm saying now over 40 years where the word Ambazonia it don't exist. So from the 80s we come now to the 90s, a period where people them like the Dr. Simon Munzus, the Barrister Ekontang, and all of these names and so on. When I never ever hear them, Ayamba, okay, and then you get the Carlson Anyangwe them. They will come up with this idea for all Anglophone General Conference in the early 90s, and they come up with the so-called Boya Declaration. This one's now one for Google and read about them for giving a better understanding. That would be a good place to start. But for just giving an overall summary of how the radicalization it progressed, and I could do subsequent presentations then for explain for now how the radicalization it go on. So this was in the early 90s, okay? You get all of these characters that I don't already call them. They radicalize the Anglophones them gradually, and they create what they call them, say the SCNC, the Southern Cameroon National Congress, At that time, where people didn't like Pa ST Muna and Pa John Ngophone, they still get big positions inside Cameroon government. They no be one catch SCNC, they no be one catch people that like lawyer Goji Dinka. But in the 1990s, the early 90s, when President Paul Biya, it don't come to power, and then still get used for people that like ST Muna and Pa John Ngophone them. They relegate them to the backbench as advisors to the one-party system where we existed back then, and all these kind of things. So this part, they become disgruntled and discontented with their position in government because they don't lose power and influence. So by the 1990s and now, and with the advent of the SDF, with John Frunti creating the political party and bringing back multipartyism and all of those things, where they further radicalize the Anglophone population. So now ST Muna, John Ngophone them, they go join the SCNC. With this All Anglophone General Conference in the early 90s, and by 1995 they get the AAC2, and then they come up with the Bamenda Declaration, where they talk about returning to federation and all of those things. Okay, for further research, now go research them, Google them, find out for yourself. And then the creation of SCYL, the Southern Cameroon Youth League, I think it was 1995 or so, 96. And the Youth League now, they become too radical, where they are going now talking about secessionism and declaring, or they talk about restoration of the statehood and all of those kind of things of the doctrine. And the people that the Secretary General of the SCYL, where been Beneza Akwanga and Ayaba Cho Lucas, Benedict Nwana Kwam, Pascal Kikishi Wangbi, all these four names will come up for column, so they did prison today, or they don't really go prison before. So by 1997, the radicalization, it don't reach a level where the SCYL, led by these four people that will come up for column, Ebenezer Akwanga, Ayaba Cho Lucas, Pascal Kiki, and Benedict Kwa, they launched an insurrection for 1997. Yes, you heard me right. These were the first Amba terrorists. The first Amba boys, the way they carry guns. They get a Ghanaian Odeshi guy, some Baba, they can't cook them, cut them, country medicine. They carry knives and guns and explosives, gunpowder and everything from a construction company where they build some roads and everything. And they attack the Cameroon institutions. They kill people there from 1997. Okay, all of these things I get evidence, I get newspaper reportings from then, and all of those things and the governor of Northwest Province at that time for 1997, the governor at that time, it be Napafa Yengo Francis, the current person will be the head of the Disarmament Commission. If they're alive, when I go asking that person this way, I don't sit down face to face, I discuss these things, the events and where they transpire, for especially Bui division, because now the division that way it will be attacked heavily by the Ambazonia terrorists. Now for the way they kill people during that attack, Ebenezer Akwanga, it will be captured and they be transferred to Yaoundé. They try, and by the year 2000, Ebenezer Akwanga was sentenced to 20 years in prison. By 2003, after 6 years in prison, Ebenezer Akwanga, with the help of other SCNC militants, Ebenezer Akwanga be escaped from prison, he go for Nigeria, and then spend a few years in Nigeria, and then he find himself in America under asylum. Okay, so now a short story that now Ebenezer Akwanga own situation that, and now so Ebenezer Akwanga end up, in prison. He don't serve his own time for prison at least. Ayaba Cho Lucas, Benedict Kwa, Pascal Kiki, they then managed for escape out of Cameroon in later years, and then they end up for Germany, and then they find themselves around Usa where they did today. But on the 24th of September 2024, Ebenezer Akwanga, not Ebenezer Akwanga, on the 24th of September 2024, Ayaba Cho Lucas be arrested by cripples from Norway, Oslo. At the same time, Benedict Kwa and Pascal Kiki, their homes, they be searched by the FBI in Minnesota, United States of America. So it was a cross-country, international, organized raid by these two countries, the Norway and the United States of America. Okay, so as I speak, Ayaba Cho Lucas, in the prison, it be held up to 1 year incommunicado awaiting trial. Meanwhile, the evidence where it be collected from Benedictwa and Pascal Kiki after the FBI be raid their homes and their electronic communication devices, they be confiscated. That evidence where they collect them from their devices, them they don't finally use them for indict Benedictwa and Pascal Kiki, and they be arrested on the 5th of September 2025, which is just 19 days ago. So, like I been talk, the radicalization, it don't progress since, like I talked that one in 1997, the first time where Anglophones, they actually carry guns, carry bombs, they attack Cameroon government institutions. Nothing that's something will happen today. And then 1995, might go back a little bit, how the radicalization, it happened for reach a level where Ebenezer Akwanga, at that time he was, I think, 26 years old, so he was a young man. The same age where Oka Nasri Clovis the day today. The majority of people where they carry guns in the bushes today, they this kind of age, you know, between the ages of 30 and 15, between 15 and 30 years old, when they carry the guns. Now young picking them, many of them, they don't even know the meaning of the word marginalization. So, for 1995, the SCNC militants, them, because like I explained earlier, you know, by that time, Anglophone, Estimuna, Belongo joined the gang. You get Yombang, now what they call him, you get Ekontang, Dr. Simon Munzu, them, they will be inside the group. They traveled to New York at that time. They say they go open the decolonization file for so-called Southern Cameroons, which was a big mafia, because if these people were enlightened enough, therefore no say the so-called decolonization office, which was the office of the Trusteeship Council, it will be abolished for 1994. So there was no such thing as the Office of Decolonization, because the world had been decolonized according to the United Nations. So much such that the Trusteeship Council was abolished. The whole office and organization was shut down. Not only the archives, maybe you know, the office of the archives was open. So they go for New York for 1995. They tell them the bad news. Tell them, say there is nothing the United Nations can do. The plebiscite was held on the 11th of February 1961. The people of former British Southern Cameroon voted to join the Republic of Cameroon. The United Nations General Assembly had sat down in April 1961 and passed Resolution 1608, you know, declaring that, and basically resolved that the Southern Cameroons would join the Republic of Cameroon by the 1st of October 1961, and Northern Cameroons joined Nigeria. So, and those things had happened. And after that, the leaders of Southern Cameroons who fought for this reunification, because Ndele fought for Cameroon to join Nigeria, and Foncha fought for Cameroon to join Cameroon, and these leaders came back to the United Nations in 1962. This time they came as representatives from the sovereign country of Cameroon, the Federal Republic of Cameroon. And when they came to the United Nations, they explained to the United Nations how the reunification project had been achieved and the result, and how Cameroon was now a prosperous, peaceful country, progressing as one and united and indivisible. These things the way I come up for talk, so na me at the talk. Now the speech where Estimuna be delivered to the United Nations General Assembly in 1962. And if you go for United Nations General Assembly with the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Cameroon, when Foncha, he was there, present, sat at the United Nations General Assembly while Estimuna read the speech from the Cameroon delegation. So how then, the same people, the same Estimuna, the same Pa Jongo Foncha, it come back now for United Nations for 1995, for can't tell the United Nations say, me they come for can't help for decolonize Southern Cameroons. Who does that? What kind of bad belly, wicked, disingenuous, stupid person does that? The same human being in the same lifetime. I mean, who are you coming to fool? You understand? So when they reach for United Nations, they get that bad news. What did they do? They stop for United Nations gift shop. They buy United Nations flag. Actually, the person will be buy United Nations gift flag. It will buy them for your own personal use as a souvenir. But then when the rest of the gang, they will see the UN flag, they reach for Cameroon with that bad news. Shame they do them for can't tell their people. They say they go for New York and they fail. United Nations, you know, they come. The so-called decolonization was achieved in 1961. Nobody need to come for can't decolonize the Southern Cameroon or whatever. With that bad news, and shame they do them for can't tell their people, their followers, that bad news. What did they decide to do? As the cowards that they are, they choose the easy option for lie for their people them. They use that flag. They stand on top of the Mongo bridge. They shake them. They cross the bridge. They talk, say, United Nations, they come for can't separate Cameroon. That was the single biggest lie where Anglophones will ever be told. That was the single biggest radicalization where it radicalized generations of Anglophones. Why me I give una this history at the camp? It be important. I give una this history because it explains what the way Anglophone successive generations they don't go through with the radicalization. I want to make you understand how deep rooted the radicalization it be. It be so deep, and why that way? For we for uproot the radicalization and de-radicalize our people them, it not go be easy, and it not go take one generation. I want to make you understand because our people they don't start be radicalized since in the 1980s. It don't take more than 4 decades, more than 40 years, the radicalization. And no magic solution, no day, no magic button, in no day where if you press them so, and then suddenly all those people, the way they don't consume all those lies, where they don't make their calculations, in fact their decisions for buy property, for marry woman, for born pikin, they don't make all these calculations, political calculations, social calculations. They don't make their lives and decisions them based on these lies. They don't bet their whole futures on these lies. You know things say that kind of person where he don't put everything, he don't bet everything based on these lies. You think say for then change that person your worldview and your perception. You think say you could do them overnight? You think say you could just press a magic button and then he forget all the things and the indoctrination, the radicalization? No, it not gonna happen. The reality now say the majority of Anglophones, they don't be radicalized to the point of no return, to the point of suicide. And the only way now for those people then for die, and then a new breed a new generation of Anglophones, they come up. That is the only way. So what when me at the talk, now for tell when I say the victory, the destruction of Ambazonia terrorism, it will be achieved in maybe another 10-20 years. But then the complete de-radicalization, it will be in another 30 to 50 years. When this generation, where they be radicalized to this level, where would they in our 40s, in our early 40s? By that time, in 40 years time, would they in our 80s or in our graves? When we don't go, the new generation will come that way. It will be free of the radicalization, or the impact of the radicalization. It will be so little where it not will be deadly anymore. That is the victory way we achieve them. And now why that way I decide to start these musings at the end. But it be important for we to go back and litigate who started the radicalization. It start the Ambazonia terrorism, how it start, how it germinate, how it grow. Now when you understand them, now if you understand how we don't arrive at this position where we destroy Ambazonia terrorism, where we talk now, maybe the 24th of September in 40 years time. If you add 40 to 2025, you will get maybe 2065. So this presentation, what I do for now, my musings, I'm musing about 2065, 24th of September 2065. In 40 years time, that is when the complete destruction of Ambazonia terrorism will be achieved. We will achieve the destruction maybe in 10 or 20 years time, but the eradication will happen maybe in 40 years time. And it will happen with meticulous work. It will happen with relentless hard work, professionalism, dedication, time-consuming work. Now wait that way go take him. And I knew from the very first day, saying that the job that way we need for do am. Now why that way I call am say Operation Chuku Chuku? Because if you get a big task ahead of you, you get a big beast like a mammoth task. For when I don't know, mammoth now the biggest animal we don't ever roam on land. Well, the dinosaurs were probably bigger, but think about a mammoth as the big brother to an elephant. So today we know about elephants because elephants exist, they are alive today. So if you need to bring down an elephant, you as a human being, as man, it being a big task. It not be easy for bring down an elephant, especially when we're the only weapon where you get them na needle. But it no means that you don't fit achieve them. So imagine say you get a big elephant where you want to bring them down. You get a needle. Chuku chuku. What you could do? That was me in 2018. When I pick this fight, I decide for carry this cross for destroy Ambazonia terrorism. I tell myself, say, now my cross, now my job, now my responsibility, now my task. I go do them. With or without your assistance. I don't need no personal permission. Because Ambazonia terrorists, they attack me. They come from my house with guns. So I take on the task for destroy Ambazonia terrorism. But I wanted help. I don't need them, but I want them. The difference between need and want, now say, whether you give me the help or you don't give me the help, I will still achieve my mission. That is a want, no be need. But a need, now something where you know if you do without. For example, you know if you make kumkum without cassava. Where it means you need cassava for make kumkum. But guess what? You don't need cassava for chop fufu. Because if it make other kind fufu, if it chop fufu corn, if it chop fufu where they pound am na cocoa yam, if it chop fufu where they make am na we yam. Different kind fufu day. No be na just kum na just one type of fufu. I hope so na get the difference.